Cool. So we're at 10 days of overcoming upper limits with 10 vibration lifters. What's up? So cool to see you. I'm really pumped about this because I wanted to do something that was just short and sweet and really simple because I know the mindset is such a big thing. So day 2 is all about, and thank you for sharing. Please go ahead and share. Tag me on Facebook if you're loving it, whatever's happening. Definitely share. Day 2 is all about turning your fears into fuel, and I'm really pumped to talk about that. So first of all, I'm doing this because 85% of the entrepreneurial game and just the game of being in life comes down to your ability to cultivate a success mindset, right? So I'm doing 10 days of vibration lifters, all about releasing upper limits, right? And today is all about the second vibration lifter. If you don't know, an upper limit is really a self-imposed limit that we put on ourselves to sabotage greater success and greater expansion in our lives. That's what an upper limit is. And if you don't know what a vibration lifter is, it's something that helps us transcend low vibe. A vibration lifter helps us to up the vibe and see things from a more expansive point of view. So we get back into what I like to call our right mind, our mind that is full of belief and not being controlled by fear. The second vibration lifter for today is the art of turning your fears into fuel. And what I'm actually going to go through here, I'm just going to do this quickly so you can do it right on with me. What I want you to do right now is I want you to go ahead and think up your top 2 fears that maybe you're dealing with most this week. I'm going to out myself. I'm going to tell you word for word what the 2 biggest fears I've been dealing with this week. So if you feel so inclined, I'm not holding anything back. I'm going to tell you my exact fear, which kind of is going to let you into my psyche. So if you're excited about that, go ahead on Periscope or Facebook Live, wherever you're watching. Go ahead and type in what your biggest 2 fears are this week, because what we're going to do is we're going to turn these fears into fuel and into a feeling of excitement for why you can have everything that you want. Cool? So, we're going to transform these. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to share with you what the first fear is. And this is the thing. When it comes to fears, we often try to push them away or not feel them. And we try to desperately stay in high vibe, but that's not always the best way to do it. So I'm going to show you exactly how I transform my fears to fuel. Here's one of the biggest fears I was dealing with. Someone says that I won't do what I say I'm going to do, that I will let myself down. Okay, Jackie says doing target market interviews is that big fear. Oh, hi Tara. Juliet, my fear is I won't have more kids. Got it. Okay, cool. So, cool, not cool. Here's what my fear is I never seem to have enough time. Gotcha. Okay. Thank you guys for sharing. You can keep them up. You keep typing them in if you want. Getting myself out there in my biz. Got it. Okay. So what you're going to see when I share my 2 fears that I've been going through this week is that I make them really specific so that I'm not just kind of keeping them untouchable for myself. My fear is not being fair to my partners, sending off my final draft to a publisher, being seen and doing revenue generating activities. You guys, awesome. Not making enough money in the end. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Cool. Here's mine. Getting more visible, doing Facebook Live. Got you. Okay. People in my existing audience won't pay for my new prices. Wah, wah. Gotcha. I'm glad we're talking soon. Here's the one I'm going to share. And make your fears really specific, okay? My fear this week, I had 2 that really came up on Monday for me, and I noticed that I was starting to feel a little bit anxious, and I was like, Mel, what's going on here? And so I took some time, and this is the first one. The bigger that my business grows, the more that I'm exposing myself to being taken down, being sued, being publicly criticized with slander from those every once in a while people that you attract who just want to take other people down. It was the bigger my business grows, the more I'm putting myself at risk for everything that comes with that, getting totally taken down, losing all your money, having your business fail, this big looming fear. Because a lot of you who've been following me know that my business has been growing really fast, and it's just in a short period of time become something that it was not a while back. And anyway, so that's been one of my fears. So that was a really big one. And then my other big fear was, if I keep expanding and growing at this pace, what if I get burnt out, or I just like freak out and crumble from the pressure, and then my business like falls apart, right? Love our egos, right? They really like to like dish up stuff. And yesterday when I was listening to The Big Leap on Audible, I've been spending a lot of time listening to The Big Leap, Gay Hendricks actually said, when you start taking off in your business, or when you start really going for it in life, your ego is not going to go quietly, it's going to get bigger, and it will tell you all kinds of stories of your certain ruin if you continue to expand to your full potential. And I love that he said that, because then it helped me for a moment feel normal and realize, oh yeah, all these fears are just proof that I'm expanding to my potential quickly and that I'm going to get there, right? So it was really cool to listen to that. But here's how I take those two fears, or maybe your two fears, and turn them into fuel for myself. Because the first thing I do is I sit in and I feel the fear. I am not one to push fear away. I suffered from anxiety for most of my life. And so I realized that when I tried to push away the fear or try not to feel it, that was when the fear got the strongest. When I sat in the fear and was like, okay, fine, I surrender, bring it on, you have no idea how mentally resilient I am, that's when the fear was like, oh, and it would crumple away. So step one, when a fear comes up and I'm like, why am I feeling anxious? The first thing I do is I identify the fear. And for me, the bigger the grows, the more I'm opening myself up to be taken down. That was that big fear, right? So first I identify the fear and I'm like, okay. And then before I go anywhere, like to my mind or any place, the second thing I do is, and you guys can type this in, like if you want to type in number 1, identify the fear, okay? Somebody type that in, number 1, identify the fear. Number 2, after you identify it, be brave and feel the fear. No more chasing this stuff away, okay? So number 2, be brave and feel the fear. So that's my thing, where I'd be like, okay, I sit there and I'm like, my business is growing fast, it's growing big. Somebody's going to come and try to wipe me out just because they can't handle it, and so, they're going to try to sue me or something like that, whatever, right? Scary stuff. So I sit there and I'm like, okay, so what if something scary happens and I have to like defend my business to save it? How does that feel to you, Mel? Mel, how does that feel? So I'd sit there and I'd be like, okay. And it's interesting that the second that I sit in the fear, that I be brave and I feel the fear, I was like, okay, that would suck, but how could that possibly be the end of the story? That's kind of what came to me. It was like the fear started to dissipate a little bit. So that was number 2, be brave, feel the fear. I'm not trying to make any assumptions. I'm not trying to make any decisions. I'm just feeling the fear. So when I sit and I try to like feel that fear, I notice that the fear starts to dissipate. It may or may not for you, but the only job is to sit and feel it. Then you go on to step 3 and you ask yourself, what do you really suspect is true about this fear? Like, first of all, and when you ask that, it's a 2-parter. What if it did happen? What would happen? And is it really true that this is going to happen, right? So it's a 2-parter. Number 3, what do you suspect is true about this fear? Somebody type that in. Number 2, what do you suspect is true about this fear? Number 1, if it really did happen. And number 2, would it really happen? So when I think about number 1, I was sitting there and I said, okay, what if it really did happen? And all of a sudden this courage came over me and I thought, okay, well, if my business grew and someone tried to take me out, if it really happened, the fact is I have an attorney and my business is totally ironclad protected. There is not one aspect of things that I have launched that doesn't have a legal agreement protecting it. So likely thing is I would be able to defend myself, if anything, very well. But second of all, if it really did happen, what I know about myself is that I truly believe there is always a way for me to get every single thing I want, and I truly believe that everything that happens is happening for me and not to me, which means that if some kind of contraction did happen, it would only be for my greater good, and perhaps it would be something I could help my clients with, or I could expand bigger, or it would be something that pulled me only to catapult me forward more. That's what I ultimately know. So it gave me this feeling like, okay, if it did happen, then I release. I'm open. I'm here. I'm willing to like do whatever it takes to get past something like that. And then number 2 is like, do I really suspect that's true? To be honest, I don't know. I really don't know. But I think at the same time, I think it's really going back to the thing of, I'm not sure if this could happen, but I don't need to spend time worrying about it. And I also believe that I'm in such control of my vibration that it's a high vibe and I'm attracting everything that I need next. And if the universe thinks that's what I need next, then I trust the universe, but I don't think it's what I need next. And so it's this moment of like, I sat in it, I got real with it. And the second that you just accept something is the second that your mind becomes the mind that can handle that possibility. So it's not that I'm trying to go there and visualize something bad happening, it's that I allow myself to just accept that this could be a possibility, and in that moment, I realize that I believe I have everything it takes to overcome any challenge that could ever come my way. Cool? So there's a huge thing where what we're doing is we're deflating the fear and we're just letting it come hang out with us, we're befriending it. And then this is the thing, I create a new belief around whatever was making me start to feel anxious. So it was, the bigger I grow, the better chance I have of being sued or taken out of the game or having my business demolished, right? That was the fear. So the new belief is, I trust my journey and my path. I know that whatever comes my way is for me, not to me, is a catapult for me to move forward faster, is a contraction to help me expand. And I know that there is nothing coming my way that is not in line to help me be greater, bigger, better, and to express my full potential. I trust my journey. I trust myself. There is nothing I can't overcome, and there is no challenge that doesn't have a solution. I just kind of riff on it for a second, and I'm like, ooh, that feels good. So whatever feels great, I go and I write that down. And the cool thing is, now I'm not saying some kind of mantra that doesn't, try to ignore the fear. The mantra is taking the fear into consideration, which is what's not allowing the fear to continue to get bigger. Cool? So number 4 is like, what new belief can you create? So let's do it with my second fear. Here we go. If I keep expanding and growing at this pace, I'll burn out and crumble from the pressure. Number 1, how does that feel? If I burn out, if I crumble under the pressure. It's always hard for me to feel that afraid when I really try to feel the fear. What comes to mind for me right now is the next question. Like, is that really true? Is that really true? And the true statement that I can share with all of you is that I actually worked far more hours when I first started my business than I did now. And when I first started my business, I was so afraid that once I got a full one-on-one practice, that I would totally burn out, and that I don't know how I would get everything done. Well, that fear became obsolete because I just kept putting one foot in front of the other, and what actually happened is I had way more money, I still do, I have way more help, and I have way more time. I quit working the other day at 3 p.m. I didn't start until noon. I didn't start until noon the last 2 days. I just meditated and worked out all morning. So I was looking around and I was like, God, I have more time than I've ever had. I have more money than I've ever had. I have more team and support than I've ever had. I'm more legally protected than I've ever had. I feel the healthiest I've ever felt, and I've gotten the best sleep I've ever had in the last decade. Lately. So I look at it and I'm like, well, is that really true? Let's say that it was true that I was starting to burn out. Then I would say, okay, well, if that's true, what would I do? Well, I would have to put things in place to start supporting myself better. And if I asked myself that, I would say, well, why would I wait until I burn out? I'll just do that now. So then I'd say, what are the things I can do to not burn out? Well, I can get better sleep. I'll start going to bed at this time. I'll make sure I prioritize my workout. I'm going to start doing my mindset practice before I get up in the morning. Those were things I installed a while back so that I wouldn't burn out. And they're what's keeping me really balanced in my life right now. So, if you sit in the fear, often it ultimately takes you to number 2, which is it true? What if it did happen? What would you do? And then, what control do you have over it? And then you take a look at that. And then number 3, do you really suspect that this is true? And for me, it could be. I definitely have times where I get overwhelmed. I do a lot of projects at once, but they're all toward the same goal. So I don't really suspect that's true, but I understand why it's a fear that comes up. And then the new belief that I want to create is, I have a fantastic track record of taking excellent care of myself. There are times as a business owner that I accept I may be tempted to feel overwhelmed. I notice myself getting better and better at being unavailable for overwhelm. I know that whatever I get done today is enough, that there's always someone who can do something that I need done better than I can do it and faster than I can do it, that I'm always attracting amazing team members who can take things off my plate so that I can be in my zone of genius all the time. And I know it's possible for my life to go well all the time, and for me to feel fantastic all the time, and for me to feel balanced and add more fun in whenever I need it to keep my creativity high and to feel well rested. That's my thing. Cool? Anybody have any comments? Anything you want to say? Anything about transforming your fears? Number 1, just feel it. Number 2, if it were true, then what would you do and what can you change? Number 3, do you suspect that it's really true or what's really going on? And number 4, what's the new belief? I'm not one for like going and looking at old beliefs that are kind of like freaking you out and stuff, but the one thing I will say is that if there's a time when I'm feeling anxious and I feel myself pushing it away, that's when I'll kind of sit and be like, okay, Mel, what's going on here? Like, let's have a little talk. Yes, delegating is healthy. Love it. Any other fears somebody want to put out? Actually, hey, here's what I want to do now really quick. You have been the most influential person I've ever come across online who love your mini courses. Oh, that really makes my heart explode. I am so glad to hear that. I'm so glad they're going well for you. I'd love to hear more about your results. You can always email our team. Ladies, this is what I want to know. With the fears that you shared in the beginning, are you willing to type in on Livestream and share how you've rewritten those, or like a little riff that you've done to rewrite some of the fears? Like I know Jen had said, you know, you were wondering like, you know, with your new prices and stuff. Other people was about being visible online during live streaming. I would love to hear like what are the new reframed you know, fears that you've kind of turned into fuel now. That's what I want to see. So I'm going to give you a few hot seconds because I know sometimes Facebook Live has a little bit of a lag, but scopers too, you go ahead and let me in on the dealio about how you're reframing. I want some reframing going on here because I shared with you mine. Let me just go ahead and go to this really quick. Let's see. Oh, I think we just got one. Oh, Jen says she's working. It makes me want to work so much smarter and reach my income goals. Okay, cool. What do you mean by that? People in my existing audience won't pay my new price, but she said first. Okay, Jen says she's working on it. I like that you, were you just giving that comment about refueling your fear? Like it's just like, ooh, you just want to work smarter about it? Let me know. Any other fears? Oh, I think Julia's got something for us. My reframe has been, God will get me pregnant or help me create the money I need for adoption. That's beautiful. Yeah. And it's also like, you know, I trust that every part of my, I mean, I'm not going to put this on you, so you decide, but I trust that every part of my journey is a step forward and closer to creating the family member we desire. I want to not work harder but smarter, and there is enough for me too. Yes, I like the whole enough for me too. If I'm going to riff on that, I would say, you know, the world is so abundant, it is impossible for me to run out of time, money, resources, love, friendship, abundance, clients, or anything that I desire. Today I'm not perfect, but I'm excited and happy, so I'm pushing the send button for my book by 1 p.m. Yes, reframe Jen. My prices are a great fit for lots of people. I've paid it before, so I know someone else can too. Yes. Abundance is such a huge thing you need to lean into. Got it. Jen, totally. What I always say about prices is just like, I invested $50,000 in my coach. There are more than enough women who are excited to invest $20,000 in mine. If I have invested, then others have invested at this level. I know that whatever I feel into and believe, that it is easy for me to attract that if I just lean into that vision. My only work is to allow the path that the universe has for me to receive this and stay in the vision and take inspired action. If I get crickets with my offer, then I'll know I'm one step closer to finding my voice and my peeps. Jackie, you freaking badass. I love that. Julia, yes, it's been such a long journey, but I keep the faith and trust it'll all work out better than I could have dreamed. It will all be worth it. Yes, generally, people are waiting to hear from me, and there are many people who are praying to pay for my services. Excellent. Yes, yes. There are clients out there who are for me. The reason I had the desire in the first place is because there is always a way to fulfill a desire. It is impossible to have a desire without it having a way to be fulfilled and to give me the feeling that I believe I will have when I receive that desire. Totally, totally, totally. Ooh, someone else said, Jackie, what was your thing again that you said? Oh, every step I take is getting me closer to becoming masterful at my messaging and masterful at knowing exactly who my clients are that are meant to work with me. Every single thing I do is getting me closer on my journey to being a highly successful online coach. There are no mistakes. I learn from every step that I take, and it catapults me forward to be more successful than I have ever been able to dream or imagine. Cool? All right, there's some fun riffing for you guys today. I'm going to be back tomorrow with the day 3 vibration lifters and all that good stuff. So it's going to be quick stuff, but tomorrow is a whole new vibration lifter. Day 1 was a gratitude bask. Day 2 was turning your fears into fuel. So I will be back. Love you guys so much. Talk soon. Bye.